Okay, I got the cylinders cleaned up pretty good. So, nice and clean. You can see the crosshatch in there, all fitted. I do my final cleaning, so I use my CRC as my final clean. So spray them in here and that. Rub it around a little bit in there, get a nice even layer. And we wipe them off. Oh, my hand doesn't fit through the cylinder anymore. Oh, it's tight. Oh. My hand either blowing way up or the cylinders got smaller. I'm not sure which one it is. Or that rag is so thick it's taking up all the gap. Those my fingers don't fit in there no more. Used to be able to put them through a 2 3/4 inch hole. This is 3 3/16. Big difference. There, one more time. Oh, big difference that time. Must have had a couple layers of rag on it the first time. Okay, do it one more time. If you get black or brown in there, it's dirty still. Stick a new white towel here. And it looks like that when you're done. Sore. He didn't like all that. Okay. All right. Ah, it hurts. Okay, where did my rings go? Okay, some Hastings Molly 20 over rings. Let's go over and find out what these things check out as being. In case you don't know the difference, the top ring is Molly, which means it's kind of a porous material. Second ring is cast iron, so just a straight black material. So that's how you tell them apart. Lots of ring gap on that. You can take your piston and drop it in like this. Smooth it out. There's your ring gap right there. I'll make sure it's got a gap in there. Kind of important. On an iron head, you need at least a big motor like this, probably minimum of about 13 thou. Bare minimum. It'd be better if you're up there about 16 to 18, but the hotter your bike runs, the more gap you need. My race bikes don't run that hot. The pistons are hot because they burn holes through them, but the actual cylinder temperature is not very hot. We blow it up before it gets hot. Okay, that looks good. Plenty of clearance. Within reason, too much doesn't really bother you. These look like they're up there in the mid-20s by looking at them. Okay, that one looks good. Pistons fall in there now. Unlike before, they wouldn't go in. Now they do. Okay, so pistons are pretty well ready to be assembled. Motor, on the other hand, is not, because it's up in the air right now, sitting. So we need to go look at that. So let's go ahead and get this stuff out of the way here. Pull the cover off, see if the stud's tight in here. If it is, get some work done. Alright, let's get some more room. I need a little more room here. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. A little extra clearance here so I don't have to trip over stuff. Okay, now I got access to get to everything. The stud's tight this time. So clean it all out, put a new Loctite on there. Got it nice and snug now, it's not moving anymore. Pulled in straight we want it to be. A little residue of Loctite there is not really going to hurt anything. So the spring will go over it anyway. Alright, so this is pretty well ready to get a clutch put in here. Everything else is pretty well done. Alright. So these are the plates we got to choose from here. These are the ones I blasted clean. These are the new ones over here. Make sure they're halfway flat, same test. See, they still compress just like the other ones do, see, none of them are dead flat. Okay, so these look like they can be used. Alright, so we can go ahead and assemble this up here now. So I got the clutch sitting right here. We already got the pressure plate laying in here with the solid steel spacers, not those flimsy ass tube ones they make. Barnett sells them. Okay, so here's your clutch. We got 8 steels and 8 fibers. We're going to be using these, whatever material this is. Some kind of a graphite metallic material, looks like. Okay, so first thing goes in there is going to be a fiber plate. Right here. You gotta make sure it slips down there no problem. If it doesn't slip in there, you got to work on it. Okay, 3 of these we're not going to use, so we need to pick out the best ones here. Or in this case, the worst ones. And it has the most rust pitting. Not exactly heavy. Ooh, definitely heavy. That's the worst one right there. Definitely not using that one. Definitely not using that one. And this one we're not using either. Okay, we got rid of our 3. Okay, so the ones that are left we're going to put in now. So these have to line up in there. And it just drops in like it's supposed to. Got the fiber. Now these are oval here because this has to have room to move to let everything line up. That's why these have ovals on them. It's best not to stack these all the same, so whatever's underneath, stagger them a little bit. So there's a slot right here, so we'll make that a hard one. Soft is on this side now. Once it dropped in there, it was even. Don't push so hard that you bend them. That could be a problem. That one's tight. We're not using that one. We'll get a different one. I don't know where to go. Don't like going in. That did. Okay, we're going to pick one of these. Let's see, this one had a little rust on it. Probably the best one is this one. Okay, the outer plate is a half plate. Sell in this retainer. Put in the groove, wrap it around, pops in. So you should have in-plane your clutch assembly here. So when you go up and down, you got a splinter. That's what you want to see. Okay, this takes a double spring, which is stock. So you slip in like that. Heavy duty has a single spring. Stock springs usually work fairly well. This is your outer pressure plate. Make sure the bearing's good. Appears to be good. Goes on there like that. Now you just push this down a little bit right here and put the nuts on it. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. Unless you gotta do it by hand, then it's a problem. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to check out was this modified pushing tool here. So this goes over that like that. So I don't know if that's worn in that deep or there's an issue with it. So I'm going to go find me another one of these and see what it looks like. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back again. Okay, here is the one that was in it. This is what a correct one is supposed to look like. You can notice the hole's a lot deeper on this one. Usually that means the throwout bearing is not working and the screw eats a hole through it. It should be this part right here. Eats it up. It's only supposed to go into that far. So we're going to replace it with this one. Bingo. Okay, I got my homemade compression tool because I'm cheap and I needed one, so I just made it. So you got 1/4 inch bolts. This is slightly offset because of the hole pattern on the case. And other than that, it works good. Only hook it up the correct way. Make sure you go in there fairly deep on the threads so you don't pull the threads out. Then we just tighten this up here. Like this. Goes right on down. Now when it gets hard and stops, you went too far. Back up a little bit. And you have to readjust things until the studs go through the holes. See, right now they're not lined up. So you need to do a little adjusting with a screwdriver and hammer. Or your hand, whatever it takes. They line up to go in further. You don't have to go all the way until it bottoms out. Just go down until you get enough room to put nuts on here. Nuts are right here. There's 1/4 inch lock nuts, is all you need. And the last one over there. Now we just tighten those up. Don't get carried away torquing on these. So if you do this one here, it pulls against the tool and tighten it. Tighten this one up. Tight. Tight. You go to the next one, do it. And it pulls it around, see. And we're interrupted again. Hello. Yeah, I'll be here working for a while. Okay. All right. Bye. Yes, I work late here. You can come by at midnight. I'll be here. Okay. And next one. See how the clutch works there? The clutch is actually released right now. That's why it's rotating around on us here. See it move. Okay. Because the clutch is released by right here, same as if you're doing it by hand, it does it mechanically. Okay, so that's all working. So the fact that it's actually spinning is a good sign. If it wasn't spinning, it'd be bound out to be something wrong. So that means the clutch will probably work fairly well when you're actually working the correct way. Notice I got nuts down here on the bolts. That way you don't lose them, see? You can have a nut there that fall off and you lose them. Plus it gives you an idea about how deep you're into the hole. Anyway, pretty simple tool to make. Or you can buy one from Jim's for $100 or whatever they get. Probably more than that. Okay, so now we got the clutches all in there. This is in there. The chain shoe is a piece of crap that we had to deal with. So we already been through all of that. Many hours of dicking around with that thing. So I went and checked the V-Twin website. They're still making a screwed up one to this day. At least that's what they show a picture of. So this is made wrong. So if you work it, it's going to be a pain. And more likely it's going to leak oil through here because when you put that much pressure right here, it lifts the cover up. It makes it leak. Because it's going to take hundreds of pounds of force to compress that thing to 1/4 inch. It needs to go in. Whereas this one here, it fits. Okay, and push that down like that. It doesn't look like it's quite all the way down. Probably is though. It is now. Okay. So we had what, 1.1 inches I think we had to be to clear everything. We're 1.150. Gasket's about 50 or 30, so we only have about 30 thou compression in that spring, which is plenty adequate. That's not going to kill anything. Okay, that one's pretty well, pretty good. He wants me to put the cover on here and button it all up for real, but I'm not going to do that until later. Actually, I can't even do that. He wants me to do that, but I'm not going to do it now because we have issues. He doesn't know yet. See, there's this big hole right here where the starter motor goes. And there's a thing called a washer right here on the jack shaft, and it goes into this cover right there where this rusty bearing is. It's filthy rusty bearing. This cover needs to be cleaned. The problem is if I button this all up, you don't have access to get that brass washer and make sure it actually goes in there where it belongs. And if it drops down into the hole where all that stuff is turning, it can cause some issues in your transmission cases. Or in the engine cases in this case. Because if that washer gets in here or gets jammed in between right here, it'll blow the case apart. So we are not going to put the cover on for finish. He's going to have to goop it up himself. We'll go ahead and put it on there all the way, but it's going to come back off again. So he's been warned. Okay, so that cover's got to have some work now. It's got to be cleaned up pretty good. This bushing has to be Loctite and pushed in all the way where it belongs. We'll leave that for later. There's also supposed to be a washer, which might be this one right here. Nope. There's supposed to be a thin washer that goes right here on the shaft right here. On the shifter shaft, it keeps this from falling out. Not that it's going to fall out anyway because it's being held on the other side, but anyway, they have a washer that goes in here. Yeah, I don't see that washer anywhere, so one more thing that's missing. Alright, so we'll deal with all this stuff at a later date. For now, I'm going to ignore it. Okay, so what's left to do we can do on this right now. About it for now until I clean that mess up over there. Okay, so I think it's a good time now to go put the top in on it. That way we can still turn the motor over right here. That's the part I like doing. Alright, so pick this thing up. Okay, this might fall out, so I'm going to put a lubricant on here to help hold it. Nice good layer of goo. Got to keep it from falling out a little bit. Alright, so that's about all we're going to do on this for now. We'll be back to finish it up later with a cover. Alright, I'm going to get the cylinders back and we'll get ready to put that top in on, so we'll be back in a minute.